Hello. For this presentation, we're going to talk about waste management, but we decided to focus on dog waste.
Because it is an increasing problematic that is polluting both water sources in the backcountry and in urban areas.
So we decided to get deeper in that problematic in aspects that we face every day. So we came with a possible solution that we can implement in our city.
Responsible dog owner. Not a new topic among neighbors, but still a group who makes walking down the street a little more terrifying for everyone, including the good dog owners who pick up the feces of their pets.
They think that picking up dog feces is gross. They forgot a bag. They don't want to carry it with them. It's not allowed, or they don't know it is allowed.
Nowadays, more people are choosing to have dogs in their homes as they provide company and bring joy to their lives. In a matter of time, dogs develop special bonds with their families and become an essential part of them. As owners, we need to adapt our lives to fulfill our pets' needs by creating new routines to take them to the vet or going out for walks. Believe it or not, this last part brings more responsibilities than the ones we can imagine. Among those responsibilities, picking up our dog's feces is the one that brings more consequences on waste management in the world. So right now, we're going to explore why dog's feces is so important for the environment and what we can do about it here in our city. Feces matter. There are two reasons. There is too much of it and it's full of bacteria and parasites. If we don't pick up our dog's feces, we might be responsible for making other dogs sick. Just like human feces, that entire dog's waste is full of nasty bacteria and potentially even parasites. 1 gram of dog feces can contain up to 23 million bacteria, and also is a common carrier of whipworms, hookworms, roundworms, salmonella, parvoviruses, among others.
Plastic bags are really bad for the environment. We have to prevent our pets to acquiring diseases. So in order to avoid this problematic, we decided to come up with some alternatives that we can use to collect the feces of our pets. The first one is newspapers. This is a really useful material that we can easily find in our homes. So we have to make them by ourselves. So it is a really good idea in order to collect these feces and save the environment. The second one is biodegradable bags. So in order to collect the feces of our pets, we decided to come up with that material because this material can degrade in a year and a half. So it's really easy to collect the feces. Also, we can use the feces of our pets in order to make a compost. So if we made it correctly, this compost can help our plants to avoid pathogens, pathogens, and we have to be careful because this compost can be useful for the ornamental plants, but we don't, but we can use it in vegetables or fruit. So we have to be careful with that. And also, there are many companies that have come with some ideas in order to collect the feces of our pets that can innovate that industry. So we look for one that is called Poof. So this tool is really useful because it is made by cardboard. So it's like a box, and it also have a stick. So the owner of the pet have to collect the feces of that pet in that box, and it's really useful because you can put it in the soil, and it spends like 3 or 4 months in disappear completely.
People believe that feces are useless and deserve to go in the trash can, but so many people around the world has developed new ways to process the feces into something useful. For example, you can use feces to create energy.
In 2018, in the city of Waterloo in southern Ontario, Canada, a plan was launched to convert dog stool in energy. The idea is for the dog owner to collect the droppings during the walk, but instead of throwing them in a basket, do it in a kind of green mailbox, which will be transported and put into a hole for 13 or 15 days. Then the material will be extracted and converted into a gas which generates green energy. In 2015, the authorities of the city of Isuminaso, located in Osaka, in central Japan, developed a mobile application to report the presence of dog feces on the sidewalk, where passersby can report the offenders through the application and the GPS locates the exact area where the waste is located. This helps people in charge of public hygiene to have a better stool handling. In England, in January, the first lamp that worked with dog feces was activated, from which methane is obtained that allows feeding the system. That 10 people do it and deposit a paper bag with the poo of their pet in the system, designed by Harper, translate directly in 2 hours of night lightning. For this, all that is needed is for the neighbors to introduce the dropping into the system and then rotate a crank several times. Finally, the most recent project shows a collaboration between Israel and Ohio, where pet waste will be processed to be converted into an odorless fertilizer powder. Paul Kleantech has developed a portable, safe, and economical prototype that uses exothermic oxidation process to convert animal feces into fertilizers, odorless and pathogen-free powder in less than a minute. Our pets and Paul Kleantech will work together to mark the product initially and apply the technology to other waste disposal systems.
Now let's talk about this problematic here in our city. In Pasto, it's almost impossible going out without crossing our path with dogs' feces. We haven't completely developed a culture in which picking up this waste is mandatory. Some people just ignore it, and others pick up the waste and throw the bag in the street, which in reality doesn't make sense at all. For this reason, in many public and private places, dogs are forbidden, and it is entirely our fault.
There are many places within our city, such as parks, streets, sidewalks, and platforms, which evidence stirred because of dog feces. However, this problem lies in the irresponsibility of owners who do not mind leaving the feces on the ground. As we mentioned before, this situation has become a huge waste and social problem because feces may produce and spread many diseases such as parasites or even parvovirus that may be mortal to human and animals' health.
Dogs' feces are more than just a gross and unsightly mess. They are an environmental pollutant and a human health hazard. When left on the ground, waste eventually breaks down and washes into the water supply, polluting our rivers, streams, creeks, and other local waterways. In cities, the problem is compounded by rats. Dog waste is often a leading food source for rats in urban areas. Rat urine and feces have been linked to a number of diseases that can easily be passed to humans.
What to do about it? We all know what we're supposed to be doing. Leave No Trace says that appropriate behavior for dog owners should include both immediately picking up all the waste and immediately taking the bags of waste away from the area for proper disposal in a trash or compost bin. Why don't all dog owners always pick up after the dogs? Well, they should, but sometimes the infrastructure makes it tricky. The study found that conveniently placed waste bins and bags dispensers were the best way to empower dog owners to better pick up after the dogs. We need to have the right infrastructure in place to make disposal of pet waste easily, explains Bailauer. This company, Boulder, does a dog job placing such a bins and dispenser at trailheads, but there aren't enough along the actual trails. According to these surveys of dog owners conducted as a part of Leave No Trace study, greater access to waste bins could bring complaints up to 96%.
Now we're going to talk about 5 bizarre campaigns encouraging people to scoop those feces. The first one is Poop DNA, an increasing popular campaign that has quickly become an international success. Uses an advanced technology to help identify irresponsible pet owners without even catching them. Using similar technology used for determining the breed of a dog, the company Poop Prints has developed a method for identifying the dog's identity through the poop that he leaves behind. Benefit: you find the dog, you find the owner, and you can then hold the owner accountable for not picking it up.
The second one is spray painting dogs' feces orange. In 2015, in the town of Corvallis, Oregon, a group of like-minded people came together to get an important message across to the locals. Initially stated by Oregon State University College of Forestry, and quickly joined by several town veterinarians, the Orange Poo campaign set out to educate the public exactly how much waste is not being picked up in the area, and what negative effects this is having on the environment. For the campaign, volunteers went around marking the feces piles with bright orange spray paint, giving a clear visual to illustrate the hundreds of droppings they had uncovered.
3. Shock Factor. Bristol City Council created a controversial poster in an effort to shock dog owners into action, similar to how anti-smoking ads show lung cancer patients. The image showed the devastating effects that left-out dogs' feces can have. The posters we are talking about an image of a toddler eating dog feces. Now, of course, they didn't actually ask a child to eat dog feces for the picture, and it's assumed it is really chocolate or something of similar effect, but the visual is still highly disturbing.
Number 4 is Poo Fi. We're not quite at the point of converting dog feces to fuel electricity. This Mexican town found another way. In Mexico City, an internet company, Terra, has teamed up with an ad agency, DDB Mexico, to develop a way to encourage dog owners to scoop up the feces by giving away free Wi-Fi. So how does it work? The company set up devices in 10 parks across the city that can actually weigh the amount of waste that is placed inside the attached bin. The heavier the weight, the more minutes of free Wi-Fi is given out to that area. It is a great concept, really cheap, and shows that a strong campaign can actually reward pet owners for being responsible rather than punishing those who don't pick up.
Number 5 is a special delivery of poop. In Brunet, Spain, dog feces has been taking over the streets and causing great concern for the small town. After attempting an increase in picking up signs or raising fines, the new town mayor, Borja Gutierrez, came up with a different idea. His motto, "Is your dog feces. We are just returning it to you." That's right, whatever. Unfortunate dog owner does not pick up after their dogs will be receiving an unexpected package when they get home. So how does it work? Volunteers are hired to roam the streets at certain times of the day. If and when they do spot a lazy dog walker, their plan is put into place. The dog feces is boxed up, labeled, lost and found, and mailed back to the original owner.
As we can see, many of these alternatives have worked in other places, but here in Pasto it might be difficult to apply them due to the lack of resources and other factors.
This is why we had thought on a campaign appealing to how much owners love their pets. If they love them, they had to pick up their feces in order to take care of the other pets as well as the environment. If they care, they should prove a clean environment in which their dogs will not represent a danger for other dogs' health. This campaign encouraged people to deposit the feces in containers. In return, this container will give the person a biodegradable bag. In addition, we had designed a poster to make people aware of the responsibility that owners should have.
To end up with this presentation, we need to be aware that having a dog is not just being responsible for that dog, we're also being responsible for other dogs and for the people who live nearby. So we need to pick up the waste that they left. Here we can find many dogs that were adopted by the police officers. Beginning, many people who live nearby were blaming the dogs of the police station for leaving waste in the park. But in reality, the dogs that were leaving that waste were dogs that have owners, irresponsible owners. So we need to be aware of that, not to affect other dogs that might be needing a home. Thank you.